Greetings, all. It's Dr. Bankhead here at the Struggle in Thinking Out Loud. And I'm going to pick up again on the educational system. So, there's quite a few things I could say about the educational system. First thing I would like to address is maybe the intent behind offering the free and appropriate public education in the United States. John D. Rockefeller, you may be familiar with that name. I believe he created the Standard Oil Company, and his father was a snake oil salesman. And John D. did very well in industrial corporate world. And because he did so well, he amassed great wealth. And with great wealth came great power and great opportunity to influence many, many, many things in the entire world. But we benefited by having him as a resident of our country, the United States. And so it was that in the early 1900s, he was influential, I would say, with the General Education Board. In fact, he might have started it up. And the General Education Board laid out parameters for offering education to the children in the United States. As I mentioned, John D. Rockefeller was an industrialist, and he had industries. And he needed his industries to have laborers working in those industries. And in order to entice people who had been primarily either engaged in agricultural business or some home-based business to come and work in the industries, something had to be created, concocted, developed to put the parents at ease who might choose to come work in the industry and make more money than they could in the cottage industries or in the agricultural fields, to come and work for the industries instead of staying home with their children. And what better way to do that than to provide a safe location for your children during the day while you worked. So you wouldn't have to be worried about where your children were, what they were doing, what they were getting. They would be free to work in the industries. And so the school hours were set to coincide with the laborers working in the industries. See where we're going with that? So, yes. Now, while that provided perhaps I'll say, a secure feeling for the parents to leave their children to go to these schools, it was without regard to the sleep requirement of children. Yes. Preschoolers, I believe it's an average of 10 to 13 hours they need every day. I don't think getting up at 4 a.m. to go to daycare with the evening meals, aside from whatever they might have gotten in nap time, is going to amount to 10 to 13 hours. Children between the ages of 6 and teenagers are going to require 9 to 12 hours from 6 to 12. And from 13 to 18, they require 8 to 10 hours of sleep. The increased sleep need is crucial for supporting physical and cognitive development. See where we're going with this? Sleep is essential for the release of growth hormones. You want healthy children? Encourage them, enable them an opportunity to have a sufficient amount of sleep. We are in a sleep-deprived nation all the way around, from infancy until at least retirement. Sleep-deprived. I mean, if you've watched any of the medical dramas on TV, you know that the residents spend inordinate amounts of hours at the hospital or clinics and get a wee bit of sleep during the time they're residents. They've made sleep deprivation to be a normal occurrence. I believe somewhere I saw some statistics regarding traffic incidents and their correlation with sleep deprivation. But you can research that. I like to give people a good opportunity to research things on their own. That way they can feel proud of themselves that they've accomplished something. Add to their self-worth. Feelings of self-worth and ability and confidence. Okay, so with that understood, and we're not going to talk about the meals the children receive in the public schools in America. I've seen videos comparing the meals that the European and Asian children receive in their school systems compared to what our children here in the United States receive. But then we're not going to talk about the food in this video because there's a lot that could be said about the food as well. So back on the education, I have some recommendations for reading for anyone that might be inclined to do so. John Taylor Gatto, Gatto, wrote several books, Dumbing Us Down, Weapons of Mass Instruction, and A Different Kind of Teacher, and The Underground History of American Education, and Education's Not the Point are the names of several of his books. Dumbing Us Down is a good place to start. James W. Loewen, that's Loewen, wrote a very, very informative book called Lies My Teacher Told Me. And myself personally, I never enjoyed history in school. When I was in school, I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't see the purpose in learning all that stuff, even though they said, well, what's past is prologue. And now it seems that they're not even telling us the past that was the past. They left out a whole lot about the past that they didn't tell us in history class. But nevertheless, Lies My Teacher Told Me by James Loewen uncovers many of the truths of American history. And finally, Patrick J. Finn wrote a book called Literacy with an Attitude, Educating Working Class Children in Their Own Interest. And his book is a takeoff of Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed, which espouses the empowerment of students to critically analyze their realities and work towards social transformation and the promotion of social justice. These books are very, very informative about, I would say, about different aspects of the educational system. But anyway, this is Dr. Bankhead at the Struggle In, Thinking Out Loud, and I will see you in the next video. I am grateful, for I am fully great.